Hey friends, I was actually off the road last weekend, so we're still dropping an unreleased set, but stay tuned afterwards because I'm going to be answering some of your questions from the internet. And if you have other questions that I don't get to, you can drop them in the comments. And if you have any questions at all, just keep being cool to each other. See you in a bit.
I've also been obsessing over that lady on TikTok who was digging in her yard and found that rug. Like, in case you didn't see this, there's a woman that was on TikTok, right? And this will be important later, but she's white, all right? And basically, she was making TikToks for like her fans and her friends and stuff. And in one of her TikToks, she comes onto the TikTok and she's like, y'all, I think my house is haunted. Okay? And then she starts giving her reason, and she does a little tour of her office where all these things are moved that aren't supposed to be moved. She's like, I'm the only one that comes in here, and this is here, and it's usually up here, and then this is moved over here. And then when I opened my laptop, the laptop was like cracked from the inside. Like and you could see it. It was like corrupt, like it looked like ink had been spilled. It was so shattered on the inside, right? And she was like, I don't know. I think I have a ghost. And in my head, I'm watching this, and I'm just sort of pulling from life experience. I'm just kind of like, you ain't ever been robbed before? Like, and so then, another TikTok she makes after that is she's digging in her yard. I think they're moving a fence or something, and then they hit something, and then they look at what they hit, and it's like this rug that's been buried underground, right? And it's a thick rug too. And then she's like, making a TikTok being like, isn't this weird? And I was like, that's a body. That's clearly a body, okay? And then this is the thing. When it comes to every person has different speeds that they operate at, right? You catch them on one day, they might react to you a certain way, another day a certain way. But some people do have like defaults, right? So one thing that's happened in the last like 4 years especially is that anytime a white woman's talking, we jump to Karen pretty quick, right? Like, there's Karens out there, but then sometimes someone will just have a menu and be like, does this one have gluten? And we're like, Karen! Like, that's... It's appropriate when it's appropriate, it's not appropriate when it's not appropriate, right? But for everything, there is its opposite, okay? And I think that for us, we do need to start talking about the complete opposite, because we all know this person. We all know the white woman who doesn't want to make a big deal out of anything. We've all met this person. She could literally be on fire. And she's like, y'all, I'm just warm. Like, no. You are in danger, Bethany. Let us help you. You know what I mean? Like, she could call you. She could call you in the middle of a robbery. She's at the bodega. It's getting robbed right now. And she calling you being like, oh, no, I don't want to bother her. Just if you get around to dialing those, like, 3 numbers, it would be really helpful. And this is who we have on our hands in this situation, because I'm not the only one, right? I see the thing and I'm like, that's a body. And then everyone else in the comments is like, girl, that's a body. And this is the thing about internet comments in general, right? At best, almost all the time, random comments on the internet are at least not helpful. They're at least not doing anything for you when you read them, or when you posted them, they're not actually good feedback. I mean, like, it happens a lot, especially because the internet's just out for everybody, Especially on a place like TikTok. People stumble onto your stuff and then they just comment on it, whatever they think. It might have nothing to do with what you're talking about, Like, as an example, years ago, I bought some nunchucks. And I was watching a tutorial on how to nunchuck. And the dude tutorial was good. He wasn't hitting himself at all. He would do exactly what he was doing, right? But then I went down to the comments to see if it was as helpful to other people as it was to me. And none of the comments had anything to do with nunchuck. The top comment was like, support the troops. And it's like, sure, but how'd you get that from this? So for all of her comments to be like, girl, that's a body, I think you should listen. You know? She made another TikTok where she was like, another really weird thing that happened was that my stepson was like going to bed and he went to plug in his phone. And when he woke up in the morning, instead of the phone being on 100%, it was on 3%. And you know how ghosts can suck up energy? I'm like, no, we're past this. It's a body. And once again, she was doing that white woman thing, trying to not make a big deal because, guys, I don't think it's a body. She says, I don't think that it's a body. I'm like, you think it's a ghost. It being a body helps your thing too. Every ghost used to have a body. Why are you acting like we're the dumb ones? And so then she makes another TikTok where she's like, okay, y'all, I called the police. And it's funny because she describes like calling the police and stuff. And when she called the police and told them the situation, I was digging in my yard and I was trying to move this fence. I hit the rug, whatever, and the rug's very thick. We can't just, because that's the other thing. She can't just pull it up. It's so heavy that it's like, it's down there. She would have to dig more to even expose more rug to even try to pull it up. And she tells the police that, and the police are like, that sounds like a body. And so the police come out, right? And I am not a cop. I don't know how police work actually works. I don't know what procedure is or anything. All I know is what I saw in the video, because she was also making a TikTok out of the police coming and checking out the hole. And the police, when they got there, I don't know what exactly they were doing, but they were doing that thing where, you know, like when they have their hands in their vest? So there was one cop that walked up and he was like, that might be a body. So police look it over, because cops came twice, right? Police look it over. Then part is fuzzy. I don't know what actually happened linking these two things. I don't know if the police said this to her before they left or if they called later and told her this, but basically they were like, look, it's a hole. I get that you're invested and that it's the rug, but we don't have the resources to just like do some big dig in your backyard for a case that's like not an open case or anything. There's not like some missing person or something. So we just, if you want to dig, if you want to dig and then call us if you find something, you can, but like, we're not gonna. And I mean, look, in this case, it was just the rug. It's not like a foot was hanging out or something, you know what I mean? And so then that was sort of that. And so she makes another TikTok where she talks to people and she's like, hey, listen, I know that y'all are all invested. I know that this is weird, but I don't have the money to just dig up my whole backyard just to try to find out what this is. Because in the case that it's nothing, I dug up my whole backyard and then I have to pay to, because it was also like going in the direction of her fire pit too, which means she would have had to pull up all that stuff. So she was like, I don't know. I don't know where this sort of leaves us, right? And she makes another TikTok not too long after that. Because what has happened through social is that we're all talking. We're all talking, we're all, like, listening's a strong word, but we're all talking. All right? But you gain the interest, and you can intrigue people from all over the world, right? And so as people are getting more and more invested in this thing, she makes another TikTok a little while later where basically someone was watching her last TikTok about how, yeah, she didn't have the money to just dig up her whole yard and everything. And so then they messaged her and they were like, hey, I own a construction company. I'll dig. I will not be left on a cliffhanger, all right? Digging is what I do. And so then, the next TikTok is her basically being like, hey, this person with this construction company said that they would come over and dig and help me figure it out and everything. So go ahead and tune back in, 4:30 Eastern Standard Time. I'm gonna go live and we'll find out together. This is what's really jarring about that, right? Is that TV used to be TV. You used to get your entertainment from TV, and TV was a thing. You used to buy the TV and know that all the TV would happen on TV. But now, slowly, over time, we're TV. Whether we mean to be or not. There's plenty of people who have realized they were TV in real time and been like, I messed up. I did not want to be TV today. TV used to, we're spoiled. We're used to 24-hour news. We're used to 24-hour programming, even pay programming. When a channel runs out of TV ideas, they're like, well, we'll let this person try to sell you something for 3 hours. You know what I mean? TV used to just have a few channels, too. TV used to have like 5 channels. And they didn't even have a lot of ideas. The TV would be like, guys, we're done. TV, you would have your TV on, but TV would be off. Because they just didn't have any more programs. They were like, you know what it is. We'll see you at 3 o'clock tomorrow. Go to bed. What are you doing up? Why are you still up right now? You have a problem. You need to see somebody, a doctor maybe. You probably have insomnia because you have left this TV on all night knowing that the Dick Cavett show only goes so late. And I didn't know about any of this. My grandpa was telling me, you know what I mean? But like, he was like, yeah, you used to, that used to be how you knew you had a sleeping problem. And now, she's opened herself up to the fact that, like, this incident has made her TV. She even said, tune in at 4:30 Eastern Standard Time. I was like, you have commercials too? Damn. And then soon after that, she makes another TikTok where she's like, okay, all right. So I got a call, construction company calls, but I got another call from homicide. And a part of me was like, duh, it's a body. But she's like, I got a call from homicide that basically they said that they don't know who the last 2 officers were communicating with because it wasn't them. They must have talked to somebody else who told them to tell me what they told me. Homicide heard about the case, and they were like, we would very much like to check. That's like our whole job, to check if that's a body. And so we're gonna come tomorrow, and they basically tell her, they're like, hey, if we find something, this will turn your house upside down. Are you prepared for that? And she was like, yeah, I want to get to the bottom of this thing. It's been like on my mind, and we're not just curious. It's like this could potentially be terrifying, And so they're like, okay. And if we don't find anything, then you're free to let the construction company dig and just see, like, get to the bottom of what maybe is dinosaur bones. Who knows, right? So next day comes, and she says in the TikTok, she's like, look, so still tune in at 4:30 Eastern Standard Time, but I don't know what you're going to be watching. So sure enough, homicide comes, they bring the detectives, they also bring the cadaver dogs, right? And both cadaver dogs signal at the spot in the rug, right? And they even did in different ways, because I don't really know, I don't know much about cadaver dogs. All I know is that the first dog, he seemed a bit junior. Do you know what I mean? That first dog was just a little too happy-go-lucky. You know what I mean? Like he really showed up and was like, oh, what a beautiful day. It's wonderful to just be in a yard and be able to run around, stretch your legs, and hang out with your friends and stuff. Oh! Y'all, this is just my opinion. I think that's a body. Second dog comes out, must have been more senior dog. They must bring two just to make triple sure, you know what I mean? Because second dog comes out much calmer, at least to me. I had more of a dignified gait to his walk. Walking around. Yep, that's a body. Ooh, y'all, come get me. That's a body. And it's got to be tough. It's got to be tough to be like a police dog because you don't know you have a job. Think about a police dog, just a dog. They think they're chilling. They think their life is normal. They only have like wild reactions once in a while, you know? Like I wonder what it would be like to take a police dog to like just the dog park. Have him converse with other dogs and stuff. Running around. That house dog is like, hey, how you doing? Looking good, you know. I love a pup in uniform. Oh, this? Oh, yeah. I wear it all the time. That was, you know, you come to this park often. Oh, yeah, every day. Every day, me and my pal come here, and then, you know, he lets me run around, and then we walk home, and then he feeds me treats, and I take a nap, and the police dog's like, nap? What's that? Oh, you know when you just get tired and you fall asleep whenever you want. And it's like, okay, must be nice. You know, and you said your owner gives you treats. What kind of treats? House dog's like, oh, all the treats. It's incredible. I get like the beef treats and the chicken treats. I go crazy for the tuna treats. I try to play it cool, but I can't. They're too good. You know, sometimes I'll play hard to get, but then I'm a sucker for the tuna treats. Do you get treats? And police dog's like, yeah, I get treats all the time. What kind of treats do you get? Police dog's like, mostly cocaine. You know, because I'm one of the dogs that they have sniff for the cocaine, and so I'm running all in the house checking for the cocaine. I usually get there first, and so you know, sometimes I take a little off the top, you know what I mean? A couple extra sniffs. You know, it's gotta be wild. It's gotta be wild to think as a police dog, you're just going for a walk. They're like, smell this. Oh, okay. See what else smells like this out here. You're like, oh, all right. You just on nice stride, you know, running with your pal, and then out of nowhere, you're like, something over here smells like, oh my gosh, that's a body. So both the cadaver dogs signal, right? And when they signal, she's like, oh my gosh, she's really taking it back. And I think that's also the first time that this becomes like real, because I think, I can't say what was going on in her head, but I can imagine that like at the time you're just kind of going through the motions and having your own little true crime thing. But then when there's really something there and it becomes real, like, oh, this is terrible. This is terrifying. And then the police even come over and they're like, hey, you might want to stop recording. And so she makes another TikTok hours later where she's like, hey, I'm sorry I left y'all on a cliffhanger. Police were like, hey, maybe you want to stop recording. So I stopped recording and everything. But there's just people all over my house and stuff. And it was just like, I think it was all hitting her at once. And it must have been overwhelming, And she's even saying to the camera, she's like, and the police, they appreciate the fact that I'm the one that called them and stuff like that. So it's not like they're looking at me or anything. I was like, nope. Call a lawyer. 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 Call a lawyer now. Put the phone down and call a lawyer. Don't talk to me. Call a lawyer. I'm not a lawyer. Stop talking to me. Call a lawyer. That's a lot to assume. That's a lot to assume. Hey, guys, I just found this body. Like, I have nothing to do with it. And it's got to be tough. Like, I really did try to put myself in her shoes. It's got to be horrific to find something like that, what it might be, all that stuff. I think about what any of us might do. You know what I mean? Maybe not make a TikTok about it, but like what any of us might do. Like, I think about what I would do. I'm a homeowner. I'm digging, I'm moving my fence, and then hit this rug. A rug, by the way, that had a tree planted on top of it. I think about what I would do, right? As Josh. And even more importantly, maybe, as like a black dude in America. I'm not gonna lie, I think I'd be like, yeah. I didn't kill him. So then they like properly excavate and they do a whole dig, and it turns out it's not a body. Isn't it weird to be disappointed? Isn't it kind of weird to be disappointed that somebody is not dead? It's not a body at all. It was a rug that had a tree planted over it that was buried, which, I'm not gonna lie, is way weirder. That's so much more jarring now. There's so many more questions I have now. We understand, it's not right, but we understand how people get got. Like, we kind of, like, there's a part of you, maybe you're in the mob or something like that, but this thing is way weirder. That means that your house was previously owned by a freak. That just means that there was someone that owned your house that was burying rugs and planting trees on top. What else were they doing? Licking banisters? What goes through the mind of somebody who buried? What kind of witchcraft is that? I want answers. She gonna be retiling her roof years from now, and there's gonna be a piece of bologna under every tile. What kind of cartoon house is this?
How do you balance weekly stand-up and a daily show?
I work at Daily Show Monday through Thursday, and then we go on the road Friday, Saturday, and sometimes Sunday. And so I know that it's a lot, but it's also everything I've been trying to do this entire time. Like, these are all the things that I've ever wanted to be doing, and they just happen to be happening at once. Another thing that really gives me energy, I guess, is the people that I'm around. I get to be around the coolest people that I've ever worked with at Daily Show, that are constantly, like, whether it's hyping you up or you're able to bounce ideas off of them, and their enthusiasm and the way that they bring like their specific talents to the show always make me excited to be a part of it. And then the rest is just doing stand up on the road, which is just meeting all of you and, you know, doing the meet and greets when we can and stuff. And those are real opportunities to get a second to chat, even if it is just a moment where, you know, I understand, especially a late show, people are tired and they want to take the picture and go home and stuff. I'm never like thinking about it some type of way. I guess I'm more just so excited to meet the people who enjoy what I'm doing, you know, because sometimes you are creating these things online and it's very easy to see a number of likes or a little ticker go up. And while those things carry their own sort of excitement of like, oh, that's cool that people are watching, it's not until you meet the people that are watching that you get a real sense of what's going on. And so I don't know, if I'm being honest, if I've thought about balance yet or anything. You know, I sneak in my naps when I can, and one day I will find time to sleep. But sometimes I will say I don't realize I'm asleep. I have definitely woken up and not been sure when I was sleeping. So I guess I get enough sleep.
How do you take care of your mental health?
I think I do lots of stuff. To me, I think you're constantly bombarded all the time with stimulus and with media. And I think that even though most of it is negative, the positive stuff there, whenever you open yourself up to it or whenever you focus on it, is just as overwhelming sometimes. You know, there are a lot of people out there talking about the good things happening in the world. And if you engage with that stuff as much as you engage with like mainstream news and being up to date on the latest horrible thing that's happening in every country, I think you can find the balance that's actually happening. Because it's true, all of these things are happening at the same time. And I don't know, I think that centers me sometimes, that like as many bad things as there are that are happening, there are so many instances of us seeing like the good in people and the good in the world and stuff. And so that helps me take care of myself. I have people that I will sometimes message if I'm having a rough time, for any number of reasons, you know. Just having those people really help. I think that therapy as well. Therapy, depending on your version of it and what you found helps you the most, I guess depends on how often you lean on it. And so, yeah, I think therapy, I think engaging in as much positive media as I can, and I think looking up specifically for news stories where something good is happening help me take care of myself.
Why are your tickets $400?
They are not. They're not. Like I cannot say this enough how much they are not. And because of how social works as well, no matter how many times you post that they're not, it may not reach the people who saw the thing. You know what I mean? Like we're all just missing each other because they're not at all. One of the reasons that you might see $400 tickets to my show are resellers. So I am trying to make sure everybody can come to the show. I'm trying to make sure that all the tickets are affordable, right? But if someone buys up a bunch of tickets and then they go to the secondary market and they wait until the show is sold out and then they try to sell it to people who want to come to the show but missed it, they're going to charge whatever they think they can get, right? So while it's $400 in this economy, $400. I am not asking that of anybody. $400 is too much money, okay? I can't sing. Yeah, I mean, like we're not talking about tickets to like somebody who can do backflips or something like that. Resellers are charging these astronomical prices, which is why I tell people to join my email list. If you join my email list, I will let you know when I add shows. I'll also let you know when shows are happening. You'll also get access to pre-sale in some of the markets because we try to email everyone out. There's a whole thing that I'm learning about how like venue have pre-sale tickets and days, and everybody has a certain amount of tickets that they're allowed and stuff like that. But as soon as we can go to you with the ticket, we try to go straight to you. So that way the email is coming from me, and then you can get the ticket at its intended price, and we completely cut resellers out of it. Sometimes I even lose words for how best to describe how bad of a thing this reselling is, because it cheats you out of money, and it cheats a lot of people out of an experience, you know? Because let's just, for the sake of argument, say the reseller buys my ticket and they're charging $2,000. And then people are like, Josh, love you, nice little quips, nice little witty jokes online, but $2,000, no. Now, somebody who was willing to pay the like $35, $45 that I was charging for the show doesn't get to come. And then this reseller is blocking people from having a good time at the show, you know? So my tickets are not $400. If you see that, you know, not only don't you buy it, but also feel free to warn other people, hey, this thing is not real, you know? So hopefully I've spoken about it well. Hopefully.
Where is your hour-long Netflix special?
It doesn't exist, but I think maybe it could one day. We'll see. The reason I do stand-up is to connect with the people that I'm doing stand-up for. And that's been happening through social, through YouTube, through like live performance as well. So I feel like the connection is there, and it's getting stronger, and it's growing. And so I don't concern myself as much with like, oh, when are we going to get this thing, or can we get this person on the phone or something? Because to me, all things happen as they're supposed to in the right time. And so if there is a day that comes that I have an hour-long Netflix special, then the day that comes will be the day that it comes out. Until then, I'm having a great time posting and writing as much as I can, and just sort of putting that stuff out there.
Can you go deeper into your writing/performing process?
Yeah, so I guess I don't know. I could talk about it all day. So I'll try to give like some bullet points. I think when you're writing about anything, in my experience, I think taking the things that you find funny about them and the things that you find interesting about them and believing in them are going to be ways that you connect people to the thing it is that you're talking about. Not everything is interesting, and maybe everything can't be made interesting by a specific person. But I think if there's any like gold that you actually find in something, someone else will connect with that. I think the missing connective tissue sometimes is belief in the thing that you're talking about, and it's in a full understanding of what you're trying to say. And so whenever I'm writing anything, I'm trying to make sure that I'm fully distilling the idea down enough that if you don't know me, and if you don't know what I'm like, and if you've maybe even never watched stand-up before, you'll still get what I'm trying to say. And I think that is one of the main things I look for in what I'm talking about and how long I want to talk about it. And then I think that sort of all of life informs other pieces of it. So if I may be talking about one thing that has nothing to do with any of the other topics I bring up in my mind while let me see, now I'm rambling. Hold on. If you choose a topic to talk about, right, it may seem incredibly isolated. It may seem like one of its kind. But because of how long humans have been around, and because we have cyclical behavior, it's not. So no matter what the thing is, there's something like it that has happened before, even if it's only in spirit. And so I think that as soon as you pick something to talk about, you can find things that are similar to that thing that maybe someone might not understand thing A that you're talking about, but they've experienced thing B. And if thing B is a universal enough experience and you link it back to A, then I think that you can in turn at least give people the option of seeing what you're trying to say. And that's just one way to do it. I think that the other way is like take the thing that is your topic that's most important to you and breaking it down on every level. At some point with those layers, people will start to see what you mean. Whether or not they agree is like completely up to them. And luckily for stand-up, you don't really need anyone to agree with you. You just need them to be enjoying what you're saying and find it funny. Some things that we find funny are because of agreement, and some things that we find funny is because of the absurdity of it and how much we disagree. And so I think that in those ways, you don't really need to have the way a lawyer does an iron tight argument. You more just need to have all of your points built out and know exactly what you're trying to convey. And then that will be the link between you and the people that you're sharing with. I think that, yeah. Thanks so much for watching. I appreciate you so much. I look forward to seeing you on the road when I come to your city. Make sure to join the email list. It's at joshjohnsoncomedy.com. And I look forward to making more videos for you in the future. You know, I really love what I'm doing right now, and you're part of why I love it so much. Yeah. Till next week. So when I swing my legs, are you getting that? No. Oh, you're not? Okay. That would be my undoing, because they are nowhere near. And it's like, it's hard to take a man seriously when they're swinging like this, because it's a natural thing. Like if they were on the ground, they would be planted enough that it wouldn't be a big deal. But because they're so free, because my knees are really off the edge, there is a dangle that's not only a bit dainty, it's a bit whimsical too. It's not the right vibe to try to be.
The shoes are also Velcro too, so that...
Yeah, okay. These actually aren't my normal shoes. I wore these because I lost my shoes. And so I'm still looking for my real shoes. But then until then, I have these on, and everyone has been looking at me like I need help. I have not encountered anybody in a store or on the street that has seen my shoes and not been, let's just say, extra nice to me. Dangling in Velcro shoes, it's not the look for a grown man. You know what I mean? Like, this is, when I tell you, I'm positive that this is like a walking ick. Yeah, like this is bad. So I was also not happy about it, because I literally asked my girlfriend, hey, do you know where my shoes are? Which is one of the most insane questions you can hit a person with, because your shoes should have been left by you somewhere nearby. But I did not know where my shoes were, and I haven't worn these in maybe a year. I don't even know where they came from. I really don't. Like, maybe I bought them, but I feel like they were a gift, and not just a gift, but like a re-gift. Like, I think they were given to someone my size, and then that person was like, nah, I can't keep these in the house. It's better than not having shoes. I'm grateful to have more than one pair of shoes, but I'm also praying I find my real shoes soon, because, ugh.
The main shoes, they're what, on?
On clouds, yeah.
When are you going to get an endorsement? I mean, you have those on every show, every stage, all over the country.
That's up to On Cloud. I wear them because they're comfortable. But an endorsement would be nice. That would definitely buy some more On Clouds. Yeah, they might as well endorse me. I would just give the money back to them almost immediately in On Clouds.
Has anybody already talked about the boat? The Titanic thing? Okay, all right. Yeah, all right. Like, look. Y'all, we can say things here that we can't say out there. That's what makes this place special, all right? If I said out there what I'm about to say it here, I'd be a lunatic. I saved it all day for in here, all right?
I don't even know where to start. It really is the wildest. Like how you go pay $250,000 and the captain using the controller I used to play Legend of Dragoon when I was 14. That's the same fucking controller too. Not even an Xbox controller. They had a PS1 controller. PS1 doesn't even exist. You know what I mean? Even PlayStation is like, that's the one you, ooh. I do feel horrible for Logitech as a company. I do, because they didn't have anything to do with this shit and the stock went down. Like that's, you gotta remember how stocks work. Stocks work, none of it's real. So it all works on your belief in the thing. And so now we believe in Logitech less because somebody decided to stick it into the controller of a submarine. Logitech had nothing to do with it. Logitech didn't roll up and was like, hey, when you drive your submarine, they didn't do that. They were just being Logitech. And then the motherfucker was like, I like the way that controller looked. Fuck a wheel. Let's go ahead and use these sticks. Yeah? That's somebody that's like hella overconfident in their NBA Jam game. You're like, let me just go ahead and use what I was using while I was killing them on NBA. No, it's wild. It really is. This is crazy. And I don't even know, like, you almost don't know how to feel. And I think that's part of the problem is that everything happens so fast now, you have to know how you feel immediately. Because everyone has a take immediately. And that's not how the world works, you know? Sometimes you see something, you don't know how you feel about it when it happens. And you need a day or two. But that's not how the news cycle works, it's not how people work, it's not how social works, you know? That's a big problem I have. I'm never the person with like the first take. I try to think for a while and then have a good take on something. And I still don't have a good take on this. I'll admit that right now. Like I really don't. It's hella conflicting. Like I'll tell you who's not conflicted though, is the Titanic. The Titanic is like, wow. Like we up here, can we laugh about it? Can we not laugh about it? Whatever. Titanic just crip walking right now. Like, I fucking got another one. That's crazy. That's wild. I don't know what to do with that. Like I feel weird about it because it's not all black and white. It's not all cut and dry, you know? Like there's a lot online that's like, hey, there was a boat full of refugees that capsized and didn't get any media attention and hundreds of people died, but then we're talking about these 5 rich people over and over. It's like, okay, sure, but like you can't just put all 5 people in it. You can't. One guy was the dumb captain. Do you know what I mean? And one person was a kid. That's a huge part that's left out of this thing. It's like that's the person who I actually do feel bad for in all this, even though he is like a billionaire son or whatever. I know it's easy to be like, fuck them all, but it's like, that you could tell that kid went because he's like, it's Father's Day weekend. I can like, oh. Get that motherfucker a tie, all right? That's not worth all that. And it really is crazy, because I understand what people are saying when they make that distinction, when they're like, you know, this person gets no media attention, these people do, why is there so many search crews for these people, and there wasn't any, it took the Coast Guard a long time to get out there to help people we knew were drowning, whatever. And just hear me out, sincerely, just hear me out. I think that whether it's media attention or it's help from any government or group of people, the reason that they got all that attention and the other people didn't is that no one is trying to be those refugees. Does that make sense? We've been conditioned our whole lives to try to be billionaires, try to be millionaires, try to be like someone. So then when something happens that looks like it would happen to us if we became them, we're interested in it. And the media's interested in it, and government's interested in it and stuff. And so I think that's the main reason. It's not some media failing. It's us. It's how we live. It's how we think and everything. You know? Like, I want to know, how do you put it? It's not even a person thing. I'm most curious to know what the orcas think. Do you know what I mean? Just because they pretty deep, and so when that shit went down, that would scare the shit out of an orca. Like just a huge explosion out of nowhere. Orca's like, this is a bad neighborhood. I knew it. This is. It's also it's a fun thing to stay here for Christmas. When you live here and you stay for the whole holiday of Christmas and stuff, it is weird when you see people come here just for Christmas. I don't know, I'm not gonna lie. I get that it's like a magical New York Christmas. I understand we have a very big tree. I get it. But underneath all that, we're still just New York. You know what I mean? I know the lights are very pretty, but underneath those lights is just regular New York. It's still rats playing dice games, shanking each other when they go sideways. It's very jarring, you know? I don't know. And it's interesting because so much of Christmas is for kids. It's specifically for kids to enjoy, you know? And it's weird because we spend the entire season of Christmas telling kids to do the opposite of what we tell them to do all year. All year we're like, don't talk to strangers. Don't you dare talk to a stranger. If a stranger even approach you, you yell stranger danger. You let them know that they're a stranger to you. And then for the whole month of December, we're like, yeah, go sit in that old motherfucker's lap. No, it's fine. Go. We make them. They don't want to do it sometimes. We're like, no, sit in his, so I can take the picture. Sit in his lap. Be still. Jeez. You know, it's harrowing. I knew a guy one time, okay, this should make me laugh the way it does, but all right, I used to work with a dude, and he would do part-time work as a Santa, but he was a black Santa. It just made me laugh how people would get to the mall and they see him and they want to be cool about it. They try so hard to be cool, but they'd also be like, so is there another mall close by? Oh, I've always felt like there's a lot of stuff around Christmas that I'm bad at, though. Like, I'm bad at wrapping gifts. I'm horrible at it in a way that's demoralizing. You know what I mean? Like, there's no quicker way when you give a gift to look like you can't read than to wrap it poorly. I'll even watch the YouTube video and I'll do all the steps with them, and I feel like there's steps they're not recorded, because then when they get done, they have a perfectly wrapped box, and I got a hexagon that looks terrible. It doesn't matter the gift. You could give the most beautiful gift. You could give someone a golden necklace for Christmas, and if you wrap it bad enough, it's gonna look like you stole it. Like, it's horrible. I use too much tape, I use too much wrapping paper, so all my gifts look like hostages. They're just extra wrapped up, like, It's horrible. I tried to give myself, myself gifts sometimes, because I haven't always got the best gifts. There was one year where I'm pretty positive my dad forgot Christmas. Like, don't feel bad, I'm an adult. Just roll with me for the story, okay? So basically, I'm pretty sure he was coming to visit me, and I think he just slid everything that was on his kitchen counter into a bag. Because when he brought me these gifts, they didn't make any sense individually or all together. This was one of the craziest Christmas. Okay, so I'm little, right? And so this man gave me one AA battery. Like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do with this at all. So I even asked him, like, so what was the purpose of, and then my dad goes, in life, and I know y'all don't know my dad, but anytime my dad just started a sentence with, in life, he didn't know what else he was about to say. That was to buy himself some time. So then he was like, in life, you gotta remember who's in charge, So I gave you that battery as a reminder, so you in charge of your life. I'm 11, so you in charge or your life, you know? And I was like, well, most things take 2 AA batteries. And he was like, no, that's part of the lesson, because you know, in life, I can get you started, but I can't always get you there. I was like, all right. What's wrong with this man? This dude got me a keychain. Not a Batman keychain, not a Power Ranger keychain. He just got me the ring. Just the keychain. I'm 11. I don't have keys. I don't have any access to anywhere you don't bring me already. So you just got me rusty metal. This is terrible. This man got me a picture frame. Just the frame from Walmart. It still had the white people in it. It had a whole white family in it having a wonderful day. Just at the beach like... Not even a picture of us, just the frame. All right. So I've started to get myself gifts, you know, just to make sure that at least one person is happy with the gift that they got me, and that's me, right? You know, I tried to gift myself something years ago. I was like, all right, let me be vulnerable, let me open up, because I used to be really laid back, and I was starting to get more and more tense every year. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go out on a limb, do something I've never done before. I'm gonna get myself a massage. All right? All my friends that go to spas, they can't say enough good things about it, so let me go ahead and open myself up to a new experience. I am not like a big man. And the person they got to give me my massage was the biggest man. He could have been, he's the biggest man I've been in a room with by myself. I was so upset having to be in a room with a man this big and only a towel. I was like, this is deeply upsetting. And I didn't know anything about spas, so I didn't know I could ask for somebody else. So then he would stand outside the room. I didn't know I could turn to the receptionist and be like, do you have anybody else? This man is so big, and his hands, he had the biggest hand. Anyone can do with their life what they wish. I'm a very live and let live type person. But these are boxing hands. Like, these are not masseuse hands. Like, he will mess around and rearrange my guts the way his hands are so big. And so then he starts in on the massage. He's been massaging me for like a minute and a half. And he is making all the noises I'm supposed to be making. And it could not be more upsetting. This man is rubbing my back and going, what do you do now? Like, because I don't have enough bass in my voice, and I'm exposed. I'm wearing a towel. I'm naked. I'm not a homophobic person, but it was a homophobe's nightmare. This was genuinely distressing. I'm just in a towel, and he on my shoulders like, God dang. You ever just wish you had a gun? Like, it was horrible. But I can't complain. I really can't. Other people have had it way worse than me as far as Christmases go. I grew up in Louisiana, and I moved to Chicago after college, and I was working with a dude who told me about his Christmas. He said his most magical Christmas that he ever had was also his most traumatic, because he had done all of the Christmassy stuff, and he loved Christmas. It was his favorite holiday, right? And so he went to see Santa at the mall, and then he had laid the milk and cookies out with his parents for Santa. Now, he lived with his mom and his stepdad, and he didn't like his stepdad. He called his stepdad Darren. Full thing, all the time. Stepdad Darren, all the time, right? His dude was like, you can call me dad. He's like, I'm not gonna do that, stepdad Darren, all right? And so then he had laid the cookies out and the milk with his mom and stepdad Darren, and then he had put on his pajamas, washed up, kissed them both goodnight, gave stepdad Darren more of a pound. He wasn't really like, we're not close like that yet. And then he went to bed, and he was trying so hard to fall asleep. You know, like when you're little and you're trying your hardest to fall asleep so Santa can come, right? You're trying to knock yourself out because you don't want to mess this up. You've done everything. You've been good all year. You laid out the milk and cookies. You don't want to mess it up now by being awake. And as he was falling asleep, he heard steps on the roof, right? And so he's like, oh my God, that's Rudolph. That's the whole crew up there right now. Like, I gotta fall asleep. He's trying so hard to sleep. What was actually happening was the night before Christmas, his house was being robbed. All right? And so he hears the footsteps on the roof and everything, and he's laying there trying to get to sleep. But you gotta think about it from his perspective. He laid out the milk and cookies. He went to bed. He hears the footsteps on the roof. Then he hears some noises in the living room. It is Chicago. His stepdad had a gun, right? So his stepdad shot the intruder in the leg. So from his room, he hears... Bam! Ah! Now, in his 9-year-old mind, he's just thinking about his stepdad having the gun. He's like, this dumbass done shot Santa. I'm not getting nothing for Christmas. This is bullshit. And I don't know what's more traumatic, what he thought happened or what they did next. Because then stepdad Darren is like, okay, this kid already hates me. And now he thinks that I shot Santa. So then he convinced my buddy's mom to let him show the dude in the living room bleeding, right? So then he's like, no, buddy, I didn't shoot Santa. He's like, yeah, you shot Santa. I heard the gunshot. You shot Santa. And he's like, no, look. And then he opened the door, and there's just a man in the living room holding his thigh, like, ow, ow. And he's like, see, that's not Santa at all. He bleeding like a bitch. Santa don't even bleed like that. You all been so great. Thank you so much. I'm John Johnson. Have a great night.
Okay, one time when I worked at Trader Joe's, this is so wild because I also avoid people who are openly angry in a way that is it's one thing if I watch something happen to them and they're angry, right? So like if I watch someone get kicked out of a place or something and they're angry about it, I know why you're angry, I think. So now if you happen to look at me or engage with me, I can talk to you, right?
Right, yeah.
When I have no idea what you're upset about and I don't know you, I also steer clear. Because one time, back when I was working,
you're a potential threat to my day now.
Yeah, because I was working at Trader Joe's, right?
Yeah.
And this is the Trader Joe's in New York. So I'd been in New York for like maybe 3 months. So I just moved here, right? Mm-hmm. This guy is in the fresh produce area, but I call it the fruit aisle just to like keep it clear, right?
Right.
So he was pulling one of the plastic bags that you pull when you want to put a bunch of apples in it or just a bunch of the loose fruits together. He was pulling one of those, and the little seam that's supposed to catch the clip to break, it must have missed, so he pulled way too much, right?
Okay.
This is where
we've all been there. This is where very common thing.
Yeah, this is where things go off the rails. So then, because like
everything I've said up till now, normal.
Yeah, like you've said, this happens to everybody, right?
Happens to everybody. It's very common.
This dude pulls.
Happened to me the other day.
The rest of his arm comes down from him pulling, and he loses his mind. Okay.
Oh.
This dude
just got fired.
Yeah. This
like
dude,
something happened before the store.
It was to the point where I was wondering if he worked at Trader Joe's and then got fired the day before, and I just never met him. That's how mad he got. So he pulls it, right?
Yeah.
As he's pulling, his arm goes down the rest of the way. So now he's got like 9 bags that he's pulled. Okay. And
he's like, I don't want this many lemons.
And then he drops the end one and then just tries again and then pulls another bunch instead of just breaking the one that he had in his hand. But now,
how is that the solution?
I have no idea, but you don't think clearly when you're angry because he's visibly angry now, right?
Yes. Yeah.
And so then he pulls again, and now there's like at least 20 bags that have been pulled out of this roll. And there's bags that are like, there's bags that are like on the floor now, all still connected, like a whole roll of toilet paper unrolled, right? Yeah. And so it's just these green bags. And so now, instead of trying to pull again or break any of them, he just punches an orange. Okay? This dude punches an orange. And
Well.
I think that once you break the seal on your personal level of anger, you're
I
just...
thought you were going to say on an orange.
No. Yeah, when you break the seal on an orange, all hell breaks loose.
There's no turning back.
Once you break the seal on, just your level of anger, I think
Yeah.
a lot of people, that's where you find out who someone is, because I think a lot of people either decide, hey, this is where I should check myself, or I'm too far gone and I'm just going to hit the gas.
Yeah.
In a fight, in an argument, there's a level, there's a ceiling that people have. And once you go past that, that's who you find out who's like, quote unquote, crazy, who you find out is like a fighter, who you find out is
Right.
a crier, like all that stuff. Because
Yeah.
that's the moment where you realize you're angry and you either start to see red or you start to calm down, right?
The emotion takes over and you're in like a free fall now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so this dude punches the orange, and I think for him, clearly punching oranges is cracking the ceiling. Cause then this dude still with the green bag string in his hand, the strip of green bags, just keeps punching oranges, right? And so then he starts screaming. He's like, oh, like, and it's not a scream that's like to get attention. It's a guttural low scream, right? Like he's essentially just being like, oh, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Punching-
The noise of a mental breakdown.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Punching oranges, orange juice going, right? Like, this dude is getting orange juice all over his face. And I've never been so scared of orange juice because he had just enough of it on his face to look like blood. Like,
Right.
like you knew if he had been punching a person, his face would just be covered, right?
Yeah.
And then
I want a glass of fresh punched orange juice, please.
so he must have punched like 8 oranges, right? And they're layered on the on these like little cabinets because the display is wooden. So it's not like he's punching a stack of oranges like you'd see at Walmart that are tilted. He's punching like a stack of oranges that are on this wooden cabinet, you know?
Yeah.
And that's why he's making so much juice, is because there's nowhere for the oranges to go.
There's no escape for these oranges.
There's no escape for these oranges. So anyway, after he punches the 8th orange, he tries to storm off. And as he's like turning around, in his punching, he's just got the bags wrapped around his arm. So now he tries to walk away and he's just pulling more rolled bags like toilet paper.
Oh no.
And that dude walked out of the store with
Yeah.
like maybe 100 bags trailing him.
That's all you can do, I think. You can't finish shopping. You can't just...
That dude left sticky.
Yeah. I was going to say, now he's sticky and covered in plastic. But yeah, you can't do that and then just look down at your list, cross off oranges, and then move on to the next thing.
It'd be so funny if he didn't want oranges. He just want plums. But then... bow, 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 bow.
Like... And I get it too. When you're angry, you don't think clearly. You just get frustrated. But like, just tear the bags, dude. Like, just at any point, tear the bags. Even if you got a couple, and I know you don't need a couple, but don't just keep pulling. Where's he thinking? Like, oh, this is just one really long bag. Like, what did he think was happening?
I would have loved to have a conversation with him or be in his head because...
I mean, be in his head. You don't want to talk to him.
because, well, no, just later in life. Like today. This was years ago. So I
Yeah.
think I could talk about... I think maybe he's over it by now, right?
Yeah.
And I'd love to like... Because you know how...
Or he's still serving time for it.
Yeah, I'd hate to be the person who ran into him on the street and just be like, hey, buddy, are you all right? And he just starts swinging, right? You can't tell why his punches are so tasty, you know?
Why are your fists so sweet?
Yeah, this dude assault is delicious. He'd have beat the hell out of you, and you're like, what was a little hint of Florida.
Such citrusy violence. I can tell I'm being hurt, but I think I'm also getting vitamins.
Yeah. At least this dude smells good, right?
Yeah, he punched a cold right out of me.
Emergency be damned. I don't hear him announce a co-pilot, so maybe I just didn't hear it. Maybe that's on me and I just didn't hear it.
Right.
But this is what, and I'm not the only one who on this flight who was like looking around like, are we seeing what we're seeing? In maybe a quarter of the way into the flight, my man walks back to our bathroom and stays in there for a while. And I'm just like, I'm sitting there, and I'm not friends with any of these people,
Right.
but we all sort of shared a look of like, was that the pilot or was that? Because don't get me wrong, pilots fly on other flights all the time to get to a place to then fly.
Right.
So some people weren't even sure if that was the pilot. Some people were like,
Yeah.
there's no way that was the pilot. And then my man is in there for a while.
Yeah.
And I didn't hear a co-pilot announce. So I'm like, who flying the plane? Because this man is in the bathroom struggling.
Yeah.
And
With the fucking airport chilies. Oh.
And I'm sitting near the back of the plane because I want to pay extra to pick my seat. So then I'm not far from the bathroom. So
Right,
I saw him. He had that little wobbly walk when he used. I know you're probably supposed to do this, but he used the overhead beds for balance. And so my man is in there a while, and we are like, who is flying the plane?
Yeah.
Because autopilot can only get you so far, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
Well, yeah, that just
like
keeps it, level. It doesn't make any decisions for you.
like
It
we're
won't
in a-
fix anything.
Exactly. And so then I'm looking around and I'm like, I whispered, I got in a whispering relationship with someone in the aisle across from me because I was like, what is that the pilot? And then they were like, I think so. And so we both just have our mouths open, shocked. Like we're like, wait, who is? Because then there were no like the other reason why I'm
There's
almost
backup
positive-
controls back there. It's an emergency.
Yeah, I'm hoping that the cockpit worked like a Nintendo Switch, and you could just pull out and take them with you to the bathroom, and just maybe do some turns while you're on the toilet.